Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. My name's Phil. It's Monday night. It should be 7:30. I'm running late. But if you're joining us live, get your views in, get your comments in. We want to talk all things Leicester City. I guess we're starting to ramp up to the start of the Premier League season in just under 2 weeks' time. We've got Seville on Sunday. Transfers, do you want to talk about it or do you not? Are you happy? Are you not happy? So much to talk about. Join us for tonight's show in our live Fanzone Q&A. Me, you, lots to talk about.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, welcome to the show. We are live. It is Monday night. We're going to be live every Monday night. Looking forward to shows, looking back at shows. Follow us wherever you are at Leicester Fan TV. Now, as ever, we can get your comments in. So whoever's watching live, get your views in. Good evening, Stephen Price. Hope you're well. Carlos, hope you're well. Rudy, good evening, sir. Keep it well there. LCFC Gray gets first big comment in here. It says, good evening, Phil. Top wants a European finish. I hope we have the resources. LCFC Grey, Forever a Fox. Do you think we've got the resources at the moment? Is last season's side that finished 8th, albeit with a bit of a deep run into the Europa Conference League, but is that team good enough to finish in a Europa spot? Even if I believe 7th will get you there, great. I want to know what you think. Maz, good evening. Nick, good evening. Gareth, good evening. Gray, good evening. Casey says these signs are amazing. Casey, I want to know, are you happy with the team as it is or not? And not just Casey, any of you put in there what you think on it. Good evening, Simon. Good evening, Auntie Karen. Hope you're well. Good evening, Nick. Get those views in. Phil says, nice holiday. I had a lovely holiday. I'm back from holiday, back into work today. Back to the grindstone in there. Dave says, still nobody inside for coming in. Now, I want to know what you guys think to that, because a lot of people, we were having a debate in the office today. Oh, it's going to be good enough. We don't need to sign anybody. Look at the players. Yuri's going to stay. Madders is going to stay. Kagler's back. You know, little Wes is there. We're good enough. We are good enough. And I sort of think that team probably is. Listen, that team that we've got there now at the moment, a lot of that was the crux of the team. We finished 5th 2 years on the trot. So you could argue that that team is good enough. It's more experienced. It's more experienced than the side that finished 5th twice on the trot. So maybe with no Europe this year, maybe that is good enough. But I just look at the top 6 now, as it was last season. Man City, we're not going to compete, I don't think, with Man City or Liverpool. And then you look at Spurs buying these players, Arsenal buying these players, Man United buying these players, West Ham buying these players. And they're not even in what I'd class as a top 6. West Ham, I think, they're in that. They finished 7th last year. West Ham finished higher than us last year, and they've made signings. So my question is to you, if West Ham finished higher than us in 7th and have made signings, aren't they going to be stronger than us this year? I don't know. Curtis says, I think we'll finish better than we think. Gray saying, it's with Alves hoping to get signed by Yuri himself. Andy says, the lack of the transfers. Andy Miller says, it depends how many injuries we get this year. I think we've got to be careful with last year, because a lot of us are saying, well, last year, the injuries cost us. Well, and most teams last year had a lot of injuries as well. It's nothing too different there. David says here, hoping that the cohesion and improving play we see from the squad bodes well for our season, assuming we get no new signings. Mind you, if we keep Pratt and play Samari, we might be okay. I'm with you on the Pratt side, to be fair with you, David S. I do think Pratt, I would keep Pratt. Last year I said I don't know why we got rid of Dennis Pratt. Absolutely don't know why we've got rid of one of the best players we had in my books. So I hope we do keep Pratt. I hope we're not just putting him in the shop window at the moment. Sumari, no, jury's out for me on him. He's one I'm hoping to see big improvements from this year. Andy says Barnes to Newcastle. Yeah, that was the rumours, but apparently we want 50 million. Apparently, I mean, every player's got a price tag. Andy, listen, Andy, question to you and anybody else. If you were to get 40 to 50 million pounds to Barnes, would you sell him for that? Because there is question marks over Harvey Barnes. He had a decent season last year, but is he progressing enough? Karen says, didn't see Jesse Lingard to Forest, didn't see that coming up. I was speaking with a Forest fan. I do actually speak with Forest fans. Again, I'm from Loughborough and there is a few Forest fans around it. Had a good chat with Pask, who's a Forest fan today, and to be fair, I was saying I quite like the look of some of their signings. I would have been more than happy to have Jesse Lingard come to Leicester. I really would. Would you, Karen? And anybody else watching? Would you have had him come into there? Simon is saying, yeah, Simon, I understand what I'm saying. See, Simon's saying here, perhaps we learned from Vestergaard not to panic button. Brendan Rodgers came out in February, March and said he wanted to sign a few players. He did say that. He did say he wanted to do a bit of a rebuild. And if you read an article in last week's Mercury, there's a lot of quotes from Brendan Rodgers about he wants to buy some new players. He wants to buy some new players. These are his words, but he can't until he's sold a few players. And he said, again, his words, he wants to buy players, got to sell players, and he's not going to fight the club over it. Not going to. And you go, so clearly, if he's not going to argue with the club over it, clearly he has asked, I want to buy some players. And clearly the club has said, no, not until you sell some players. So if we haven't got any players, because we can't sell any players, that makes me think Brendan Rodgers isn't going to this season going, well, great, I'm happy with what we've got, because he's publicly come out and said he wants to buy some players. So all those people who are a bit blue-tinted, I think, at the moment going, we don't need to sign any players. I'm like, well, I think Brendan's pretty clearly said he wants to buy some, because he said it in February, he said it since then, and he said it in the press last week, but he's been not allowed to buy any until he sold some. So I don't think it's panic buy at this stage, because he's been talking about it since February. Curtis says, if Pratt stays, I'll be very happy. We ain't got a bad team. Easy top 8 finish. I think we can finish top 8, Curtis. I'm with you on that. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy in there. Phil says Callum Wright played well on Saturday. Curtis then says Pratt will be used this year. Imtiaz, good evening, sir. Hope you're well. Says, when are we going to buy some players? I hope we do. I'll tell you what, I've just been on holiday and you sat there and you're like, oh, give us a bit of transfer news. Somebody give us some transfer news. And been nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't think, I'll be honest with you, in modern day football history, and I'm talking like since social media's been around, maybe the last 10 years, have you ever known a summer transfer for Leicester this quiet? Nobody out, nobody in. It's like, oh, I can't wait for the season to start, but I'm going to be honest, we need to make some signings. We need to make some signings. If you think, as a football club, you can go into next season when all the clubs around you are adding players into their mix, they're adding players. You don't add a player, by the way, because you think it makes you the same as last year. You add a player because you think it makes you better than last year. When we signed Bertrand, Vestergaard, Sumari, Daka, they were signed to make us better last year. Whether they did is a debate we would have. But we need to make some signings, which honestly really works in the office with me at Leicester Fan TV. You don't have to talk some nonsense, really, mate. You wait till I see you next, honestly. Signings don't, he says signings don't mean you've got to go. You see, signings don't mean a better finish. I think you'll find they do. I think you find when we signed Maddison, it helped us finish better. When we signed Yuri, it helped us finish better. I think when we signed Jamie Vardy, it helped us win the Premier League. Of course, signings mean a better finish, don't they? Yes, Ryan saying Newcastle. You see, Newcastle are one of those teams where, again, if you're honest, if you look at where they're going, and they have got the money, whether it takes them a season or 5 seasons, I don't know. But Newcastle, I think we're competing next season with Newcastle, West Ham, possibly Villa because of who they've signed. I think we are competing for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th type of block. And I'm hoping we go after some of the cups. Ben says, why are people saying we don't need anyone? We're crying out for a right winger and a central midfielder minimum. Ben, I'm not being funny. I'm with you. I'll happily go on record now. We need to make a signing. We need to make a couple of signings. Because again, look, I'm going back to Reedy here. Signings don't mean a better finish. Well, last season we had Lookman in the squad who played quite a few games, scored a few goals, created a few goals. We had Lookman last year. We've not got Lookman this year. So we've effectively got an attacking option less than we had last year. I know Dennis Pratt is currently back in, but Dennis Pratt, much as I like him, is in that mould of like Ndidi, Chowdhury, Mendy. I think he's more progressive than those three, by the way. I do prefer Dennis Pratt to certainly Mendy and, well, he's not really, you get the idea. But we had Lookman last year, who was some attacking flair, who played on the wing, played down the middle. So if we're not signing Lookman, aren't we weaker than last year? Question, you tell me, I don't know. I'm happy with, if we keep all the best players, at Leicester, then generally I'm still very happy and very much looking for this season. But I do feel like we got to make a signing. And those people are saying, again, we had a debate in the office today. Oh, we had a great pre-season. And again, I feel I'm not being negative. But yeah, we had a great season. We beat League One in a mess Derby County. We beat Championship Preston. We beat Notts County from the non-league. We beat 08 Leven from mid-table Belgium. You know, let's not kid ourselves. We're not playing any great shakes. I know Seville will be a different mess in there. Stefan says it, you don't have to rebuild a team by bringing in more players. You have to make the ones you've got play for each other and bond together. I think you're right, Stefan, but haven't they been doing that anyway? Stefan, haven't the team been playing together and playing as a team? This team's effectively been together for the best part of 2, maybe 3 seasons. This is the team that finished 5th and 8th. This is the team that have been on a European tour this season together, deep through the Europa League and then into the Europa Conference. I think this team is a bonded team in there. Simon saying lack of investment in new signings is an embarrassment. I find it a worry, Simon, if I'm honest. I do fear that I fear slightly because I'm pretty sure we will sign somebody. I am pretty sure we will sign somebody before the September the 1st transfer deadline. I am pretty sure we will. And I'm pretty sure we'll let a couple go. So this is a bit of a hypothetical thing that I'm going to say now. But if we didn't sign anybody, I think if we were to have an average or poor start to the season, I'd say Brendan's in deep, deep trouble because people would go, why haven't you signed anybody, Brendan? You know, you've got the same team as last year. You need to build it. You know, it's interesting. Curtis says Patson will be on good numbers this year. Body will be flying for fun, and JJ will be most improved players. Wolf will get back to his best, and Madders will be on fire. I'm with you, Curtis, on that. I like that. Again, I've come back sounding negative. I guess I want to be excited by saying, oh, we've got that player coming in. I slightly worry again about, and I said it as soon as they called it, this 5 sub rule. Got 5 subs next season. That is going to play into the hands of everybody who's got a deeper bench, a deeper in depth in the squad. And that will affect all the way down the league. If our bench is better, it's going to help us when we play the teams that are probably going to be down near the bottom, the Fulhams, the Bournemouths. You know, so when we play them, so again, I'll come back to quality and depth. LCFC Gray says Dacres look sharper. I hope so. I've said it last season. I don't think that I don't see it in Daka yet myself, but look, I'm glad you think he's looked sharp against non-league Notts County and Championship and League One Derby. Great, good. I'd like to think that £30 million worth of striker does look pretty hot against those teams. Let's hope he brings it in against the big boys in the Premier League. Nick says, Barnes, come on, let's get excited. Nick says Barnes is 60 million plus all day long. I don't think so, Nick, if I'm honest. I don't think so. Sorry, MTS. A couple of people saying I'm a bit crackly tonight. Do you know what? It's just come back from holiday and I'm not set up. I was late. Got to get back into it. Ben says, keep perhaps, but we've got plenty of central readers coming through as well. Right, Braybrook, Alves, McAteer in there. Lingard isn't on 200 grand a week. He's on 80 grand a week, which is, apparently, Nick Moore, he is on 80 grand a week. So, I don't know. About the same as Vestergaard. Vestergaard's on 70 grand. Go on, Nick. Which one's better value? Vestergaard at 70 grand or Lingard at 80? You answer that, not me. Keith says here, I'd sell Barnes and throw your in for free. It's too consistent. Keith, I won't go that far. I guess it's a chance to ask you guys, what do you think? There was the Maddison rumours. LCFC Grey saying Forest will go down with or without Lingard. I'm not convinced about that, LCFC Grey. I hate to say it. But after going to the FA Cup game and seeing, as soon as I've said it before, as soon as I saw Leicester lose like that and the Forest Stadium rocking, reminded me of the King Power Stadium rocking 4, 5, 6 years ago, and you could see it in their fans, and I was like, these guys are going to get promoted. I think they're going to have a good first half of the season. Great. I honestly do, man. I think they're going to have a good start to the season. I think we played them 9 games in. 9 games in. I'm a little bit worried. Ben says, need a right winger. A trophy would be nice this year. Yes, Andy. Let's get deep into the League Cup. I would take that, or the FA Cup in there. Phil Upton says, Iverson distribution a lot better than Casper's. It shows. Gareth says, Urine needs to go next, taking too long. I hope we keep Urine. I really do hope we keep Urine. But he does probably need to sign a transfer, a contract extension. Else, maybe I've got a suspicion if he doesn't go in the summer, he may go after the World Cup in the January transfer window. We can only register 25, says this is Ross's dad, Phil. We can only register 25 though, and not afford to keep anybody like Mendy we ended up paying. Yeah, I agree. It is. I know why we've got to sell players to get players in. You have got to juggle it all around, but we've known about this. This is what goes on at the club. You buy players, you sell players. Ivan, hope you're well, sir, says, what will the conversation be this time next season after most likely Tielemans, Maddison, Evans, Pavard, Casper, Hone, I don't know, and Vardy are too old. Something is wrong at the club. Yes, well. I mean, Tielemans, Maddison, and Fafana, you can't put in the too old bracket, Ivan, but it's an interesting one. We haven't replaced Lookman, I can't believe it. MTS, I was just saying that in there. Andy says, I wonder how many players we have to sell before we can afford to buy. I don't know, Andy. Are we maybe literally on sell one, buy one? Would be interesting there. And again, Michael, the Reds haven't got 20 grand, 200 grand, it's 80 grand, I believe, in there. Does Rogers question his position with no signing, says Pete? I think, Pete, your question there is very, very on the money. I think if Brendan, as he came out, honestly, read the article in the Mercury and read Rogers' quotes. He is saying he wants to buy some players. He says, I want to buy some new players. And then he goes on to say, I've been told by the club I need to sell players first before I can buy players. Then he goes on to say, I'm not going to fight the club over this. Because he says he obviously appreciates everything the club's done and top and all that. So he's saying, look, I'm happy, but I have asked for new players. I think if he doesn't get new players and we have a sticky start to the season we've got some tough games in that first 6 games. Honestly, with players at Man U, Chelsea, Spurs, I think, Arsenal. There's some tough games in that first little batch of games. Adamski says, rubbish, Phil. You're rubbish, Phil. Rubbish. I am, mate. I'll take it. I don't mind it. We already have a brilliant squad. It's not been utilised properly. We have some world-class players. Adam, listen, I love our players. I love them. I think Maddison is brilliant. I think Vardy is brilliant. I think sometimes Yuri's brilliant as well. Casper's really pretty good. Fofana. The only I would argue with you, Adam and Adamski. World-class players. Come on then, name me and by world, don't throw the words world-class players around lightly. Think about what you're saying. By world-class, that means effectively they get into the best team in the world. World-class means they are up there on the top table. At the moment, I wouldn't put any Leicester player in world-class. I think Fofana could make it there. And I think on his day, you could have said Jamie Vardy is perhaps up there. But I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't name any one of our current squad as world class. If I'm honest, I think you'll see. I love Leicester City, Ski, but I don't think we've got world class players at the moment. If you disagree with me, please put it in there. And anybody else, let me know if you think we've got a world class player in that squad. As I say, I think Fofana is on the way to being that. But world class at the moment, no, he is not world class. He looks good. Seville will be the sternest test without a doubt, says LCFC Grey in there. You have so many comments tonight. Thank you for so many comments. I'm having to scoot through them as well. Lee says Rodgers ain't going to leave. He's on £8 million plus a year. I think it's 12 to be fair, Lee, but maybe 8 million. The only way he leaves is if he's sacked, of course. You're right. I agree with that. Nobody's or poached. I do wonder, Lee, as well, a question to you and anybody else who's watching. Is Brendan in that funny position? Because a couple of years ago, he was sort of very much touted to be the next Arsenal manager, and you were interested. I wonder if he's not got that value anymore. I don't quite see that one of those top 6 clubs would come in for him anymore. I don't think Arsenal would come in for him. I don't think Man U would or Spurs. I think they've shown they want that higher European manager. So I wonder, is he in a bit of a funny place? Ian says I'm one of Brendan's biggest critics. This is not me. This is Ian. I'm very much Brendan in. But this is a squad that has finished 5th twice. If we can keep them all fit, why can't we do it again? The season hasn't started. We're fearing the Wales. Let's see where we are after 10 games. Ian, 100% with you after 10 games. But I do have to say to you, Ian, on September the 1st, the transfer window shuts. If after 10 games you're in a mess, everybody's going to be saying, I'm just predicting, if you're in a bit of a mess after 10, 12 games, everyone's going to say, why the hell did we not sign anybody? I hate to be one of those people. I'm grumpy old man zone now, honestly. I'm nearly 35. I'm that old and grumpy. It's like in January 2021, I remember doing live videos going, we need to sign somebody. We want to finish Champions League. We can finish. Leicester City can finish Champions League January 2021. We signed on loan Ryan Bennett. And I said at the time, that is going to cost us. And I'm only sort of saying it now. If we don't sign anybody, I'm being honest, if we don't sign anybody, I don't feel like we're particularly going for it next season. I don't think it's right. I think we need to sign somebody. Brendan said he wants to sign somebody. When does this new head of recruitment start? Now, Andy, I believe, don't quote me on this, but somebody has told me, this guy from Southampton has been told he cannot start at Leicester until after the transfer window has ended. That is what I believe. We've signed a head of recruitment who can't start until the end of the transfer window. You wouldn't do that, would you? No. And honestly, I'm only going on hearsay what I've been told. In there. hey, Ian, I'll take that. 35 plus 15, I'll still take that. You're on the wrong side. I think the media big him up more now, more than how good he is actually. The 2 5th places made the media go, he's making the small Leicester team great, therefore he can do big things at big clubs. Yeah, maybe, Lee. It's going to be an interesting one. It is going to be an interesting one. Listen, I don't mind. I'm just calling it as it is. I think we need to make signings. Do you? Just put it in there. Do we need to make signings? Yes or no? If it's the squad's the same as last year, do you go, yeah, I'll take that. I'm happy. If you think, no, that the side needs extra. We need an extra winger. We need an extra whatever. I'll say the side is the same as last year, except we've lost Lookman, that attacking added attacker, and we've got Dennis Pratt, who's added midfield. I'll be honest, I'd have Lookman and Pratt in that side at the moment. I would definitely. I do not understand why we're not buying Lookman for 14 million. But anyway, let me know. Stevens. Oh no, I was going to put Stevens. How many players did we sign when we won the league? Oh dear, let's see. Who did we sign that summer we won the league? Well, we changed managers. The season we won the league, we changed the manager, which was probably one of the biggest things, Stephen. So we brought Claudio Ranieri in that summer instead of Nigel Pearson. Which other players did we sign for that season? Come on, you help me out with this. I know, obviously, Danny Simpson came in that season. Kante came in that season. That's 2, Stephen. Let me see. Well, that's a manager and 2 players. The season we won the Premier League. Was there anybody else who came in and had a bit of impact? I don't know. I'll leave it there. But that's a manager and 2 players, Stephen. So that's sort of. I don't know if you're what you mean with your question there, but that's what I would say there anyway. Wayne, good evening, Wayne. Hope you're well, mate. Good to keep chatting with you. He says, no need signings. We're falling short of quality if injuries. Yes, I know, Neil. I agree. We're signing the Southampton sort of recruitment look where they finish every season. It does seem in there. Really says you seem off your head today. Thanks, Reedy. I appreciate that. Ross, good evening, Ross says, we have better season when we don't make any signings. Which season was that then, Ross? Talk me through that season when we didn't make any signings and we had a better one. In there, let me know in that. Depth in defence, a worry again if injuries, red cards kick in, says Phil in there. Ian says standing still is going backwards in this game. So yes, we do, but there's plenty of time left in the window. There is September the 1st. We've got 5 weeks. That's what I say. I honestly think, Ian, that we will sell a couple of players and we will buy a couple of players before September the 1st. That's what I say. I am convinced we will sell a player and buy a player in there. Ross is saying, I'm not sure. I don't think, Ross, these all came in just for the Premier League. You don't help him answer that. Kante certainly came in the summer. I know that. And Gray came in the January. Yes, you're right. You see, and Nathan Dyer came in on loan. Yeah. So that was good. Jim says we did sign Huth. We did sign Huth in that summer. We'd actually had him on loan since the January before, I believe. Every club needs 2 signings to stop complacency in the team. I think you need it for competition. I think you need it to freshen things up. Every year, I think players need it a little bit. I cannot believe. I can't remember another summer where we haven't signed anybody, which is why I say I think I know we will sign players in there. Ross says they all did. Trust in me. Trust you, Ross. How far can I throw you, Ross? Do I trust Ross? I actually do trust you, Ross. So if you say that was good and that's who came in, Ross is just saying there, the summer we won the Premier League, the summer before the Premier League, we signed Kante, Okazaki, Fuchs, Huth, and the Gray in January. Benarouan made a big impact. Inler and Nathan Dyer. You see, that's what, the league doesn't stand still, but I believe I'm right in saying, I believe Jamie from the Foxes Arms put a stat in our little group chat we have saying that Leicester are the only club in top flight European leagues who haven't made a signing yet this summer. Everybody makes a signing. Just what are we doing? What are we doing? Andy says no European football will help us this year. That's a silver lining. I think I'd still rather have the European football in there. When is the second, third kit? Asked Jim. No ideas. As if the club say anything to anybody about anything. It's going to be an interesting one. Listen, the minute there is any transfer news, we will go live. You know it. There's just been so little to talk about. It's like Sunday is going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a much tougher tackle than playing Derby County or Preston North End. So we will see that. But we don't want any repetitions of last summer's game where little Wes got crocked. So it's one of those where I'm a bit like, you'll be watching it just going, please nobody get injured. Injured? It'd be good if I could speak English. No injuries, please. You know what I mean. Please no injuries against Seville. Join Reedy this Friday. He'll be doing a little bit of a match preview show, I would be guessing, on Friday at some point. Jamie from the Foxes Arms will be live from the Foxes Arms on Sunday morning. I'm laughing because I can read. Reedy is just trying to wind me up. He says, Daka will be the new signing this season, Phil. Let's get behind him for once. I am behind him. I will be cheering him on, Reedy. I will be cheering him on. I hope he, honestly, think of a forfeit for when he scores his 20th Premier League goal this season, Reedy. And I'll do it within reason. I've got to be careful what I say live on air. But honestly, next Monday night, we can do, if Daka scores 20 goals, Phil will, ... and then we'll pick one. I'll see you guys all next Monday in a live Fanzone show. God knows what I've just welcomed myself into there. See you all soon. Keep it Leicester Fan. Oh, what's that? Transfer. Oh no, sorry. It was just Amazon delivery. See you all soon.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.